going here. Yeah, so we missed the beginning. Oh, well. See, that's why you should show up live. No. Just kidding. Go ahead, Carol.
Well, I thought this entire section, I underlined so much of it that I loved it. But I'm following up on what you just read. If we go a little bit further, it says in 4, the ego is the part of the mind which believes in division or separation. But how can part of God, which we are, detach itself without believing it is attacking him? So, because don't we blame God so much for stuff we're going through? We spoke before of the authority problem as involving the concept of usurping his power. It's like we take over and we have this power. We don't, not in terms of separation and in ego. The ego believes that this is what you did. You took over because it believes it is you. That's the part that I realize is so not true. It's not us.
Right.
It isn't us. And Carla continuously drums that into me when we speak to each other. It's like, it's not you. That is not your real true self.
Right.
It is not the divided part. It is not the separate. It is false. It's a delusion. It's not real. And that was the part of number 4 that I felt was so powerful because it believes it is you, and is like italicized, like it's accented. It follows then that if you identify with the ego, you must perceive yourself as guilty. So if you are in that mindset, yeah, man, you're going to do a number on yourself and just go on, and it's going to spiral, and it's going to just get, further and further away and more separated, more guilty, more everything. It'll just spiral around till we realize the core truth is that is not us. That is not our identity ever. And so it was so powerful because as you were reading, I went on to 4 and read that part and thought, that's the resolution of it. If we realize that that is not us, and that's a basic core truth.
Yeah.
What we are is so far removed from that. And so because it helps so much of our life is undoing the guilt that we experienced probably early in life from our parents or whatever. And it surrounds so much of our healing. You know what I mean? We have to heal from so much of that because it could be generations old, guilt and stuff that we carry. And it's just not so. And this just totally undoes it by saying it's not you. Once we truly accept that, wow, it like bricks come off of your shoulders that you've been carrying. It's just, to me, it's so powerful. This whole thing is powerful.
Yeah.
That was only in relation to you, Linda. My
Yeah.
my little star, because I've underlined so much, but I've underlined almost all of number 10. The ego cannot oppose the laws of God any more than you can. But it can interpret them according to what it wants, just as you can. I mean, you can make it, be anything you want it to be, which is illusory. That is why the question, what do you want, must be answered. You are answering it every minute and every second, and each moment of decision is a judgment which is anything but ineffectual. And so we're constantly choosing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, its effects, the choices we make, will follow automatically until the decision is changed, till we recognize, become aware, see the false and the delusion stuff about what we're thinking or believing. Okay, it's effective until this is a redundant statement because you've not learned it.
Mhm.
You're still doing it. Duh. But again, any decision can be unmade as well as made. God is so good, gives us that constant choice to undo it all and to not buy into it anymore and to erase it. And
Yeah,
and it's just so, it's so perfect. This whole section is so chock full of just good stuff.
yeah,
And I really hope and pray that it is healing for so many of us, because I believe so much of what we carry around from the past is connected to guilt in one way or another. I mean,
absolutely.
yes, because of our relationships and things we didn't do, choices we didn't make that were helpful to us and whatever. But I just love this section. Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. Carla.
It's so interesting because the line you're gonna read that you read at the beginning, that about because it believes this is you, is really what stood out to me too, Carol. And this is very challenging because we feel and believe it's us, but it's not us. With the body just feels something. Something could be coming up, healing, or I'm gonna read this is huge, and so I'll only read just a few lines. It's something by Virginia on Acres. It's called "Is Attack Possible?" I was like, no, attack is not possible, because this is a key. All thought is shared. Now, this is what's coming into part of what's coming into mind all the time. We think it's us judging. We think it's us doing this, and we may. I mean, because I'll share one more line. It's in the course in the paragraph 6 in line 3. Whatever you accept into your mind has reality for you. And that's it. If you feel it and you accept it as you, then it's gonna affect everything you choose. It's good. That's that is your creation. That is how we create. You don't do like, I mean, yes, we can do universes that we're at this simple level and we're creating through thought. The thoughts we believe, we accept as real. And that affects our actions, it affects our choices, and it affects our identities, what you're saying. And so I wasn't gonna share this, but I never know what's gonna come out. So it just comes out. And it's really a way I practiced writing the poems. It's not that I know I'm gonna write. I need to have a real big concept of how it's gonna unfold. I practice probably every week for probably most of my life. I think I started writing my first poem, which I don't even remember doing, when I was 13. And I remember the poem. Well, I found it one day, and I don't know how I found it, because I was in California and I had thrown away most everything when I left Portland. Yet there it was on the floor. I'm like, huh, interesting. And so that tells me that we don't see everything in our lives that's helpful. We don't know what all the things that are happening in the world that are actually helping us, but we do easily. It's not it's actually ego is judging that we're not doing it right, or all this stuff that comes into our mind, and we accept it as true, and then it affects everything. And so it's like the rabbit hole. We're going down the rabbit hole. I forget what I was going to share now, but I know in the course it says something about the identity, what we identify with. It's normal. We're coming to this world where when we're not in a body, we're one with God, right? We're in this spirit sense. We're not judging, we're not believing thoughts. We don't have thoughts, I think. I don't even really, not totally clear on it, but we come into a body and we cry. We learn that crying, maybe we go to either go to a diaper or something, or we're hungry or whatever. We cry and you're learning all the time. This is what's helpful. This is, and so what do we do here? We do it all the time. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. So is that what I am? I'm a lawyer, a doctor. So I'm creating that. I'm like, and this is what ego is. It's what you're identifying with. And we're constantly increasing it or creating it, or whatever you're going to say, by our words, like, or our thoughts. It's like, thinking, my name is whatever, I am this, I don't like chocolate, or, so we're constantly creating our identity through what we say. Now, it's not that you can't do that. You can do that. I mean, I have to do it. You have to be in the world. The world isn't going to change to let go of our identity, but you have to learn to live in the world, do as the world, that to, address, it's something I say, address the appearance, hold the truth. So you have to, if your house is on fire, you definitely address the appearance, you call the fire department, right? But somehow, I don't know how, the ego maybe, oh, I lost all my pictures, or when I was a kid, or how's this going to be helpful? And all these thoughts are going to come in. And this is what happened whenever Carol started speaking. Realizations came in, and by the time she was done, I forgot them, most of them. And then the ego wants to give me on me because of that. And so it's constant. We're constantly being, ego isn't bad. It's just, it was created for a purpose, but its purpose has been altered because we believe it. And it believes it is us. And so now it's gone to a point, maybe it wants to keep its identity, keep its control. So it's an offer. I'll try to close that now. So it's not about control. It's about mastery. You see what you may see what you choose, or just to notice what, and that's very challenging in this world, because now we know things that happen in China, and our world used to be, smaller. We didn't have cars, we didn't have phones, no internet. And so our world was smaller. Now our world is much more complex. So I guess my suggestion is, it's like, simplify. Do I need this? Do I need this? Is it really important? The mind wants to tell you that it's important. Like, I did this thing where on that side, when I was in Portland and my tire was flat in my car, I had 3 sessions that I was supposed to do that day. And my mind wanted to tell me, oh, we can do it. We can go. If we go right now, we can go to Les Schwab and get the tire fixed, and we can do all this stuff. And I noticed it and I go, oh, really? I'm not going anywhere. I don't have anywhere I need to go. I have an appointment to go to. I have the food. I have everything I need. Do I really need to go? Now, I probably did that thousands of times afterwards. I listened to the mind, whatever. But I started that day, and I have not forgotten that day. I remember that it was like a little shift, and I realized I don't need to do that. I don't need to. And I waited until after the sessions and I had time. And you know what? I didn't have to stress, because if I had tried to do it in an hour and a half, the mind tried to tell me to do it, I would have been stressed. I would have been anxious. I was like, let's go. And I would have tried to push people. And what am I creating from that? You don't realize we're not just creating when we slap someone's face or stomp through someone's house. We're creating all the time with the energy from our choices. It's not just our choices, it's the energy. That's what God is. That's what we are. The true us is energy. So I have 3 things that can help that, but it's to simplify. I just sometimes read just a line or a paragraph and I stop, and maybe I'll finish it later, but it seems like the mind says, oh, there's so much you have to learn, you have to realize, you have to let go, you have to do this, you have to do that, and the mind wants to tell you that we don't need to do all those things. Just willing to re-identify with what we truly are. And that'll really, not only does it change you, that'll change the world. You may not see it, but you're changing the world. And you always change your world every day. Every single freaking choice you make changes the world.
Thank you, Carla. Fabi, were you going to share something?
Oh, no, I was just scrolling through that chapter. Thank you for sharing the link for the app.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, but well, I can share, like, yeah, so true. So everything rings so true about guilt, that it puts us in a state of fear. And uh, this passage that, um, what is her name? Martha? I can see the names because I'm in my tablet, but she highlighted this passage that reads that everything that we accept into our minds makes it real. And I don't know, this whole chapter um, brought my son in mind, my son that like had like delirium of persecution sometimes. And I did realize before that it stems from guilt. Um, there is this, in number 7, it says that perverted thinking will always be attended with guilt because it is a belief in sin. And I don't know, I just thought so much about my son. And but also I went back into the whole chapter 5, and I remember that the best way that I can help him is see the Holy Spirit that is in him just as it is in me, and see him as he truly is, light being, just like I am, just like you are. And that's all I can do. And um, yeah, that's what I can share.
Yeah. Thank you, Fabi.
I don't know if I made sense. It
No,
just,
you made perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I continue to do this work. That's why I continue to read the Course in Miracles. That's why I continue to do the lessons. That's why I have a scheduled monthly spiritual counseling session for myself, because I know that everything that I am healing within myself, all of the ways that I am letting go of what the ego mind wants to believe, is releasing everybody from it. None of us heal alone. So I'm going to have my session tomorrow, and I'm going to know that my healing is going to be a beneficial presence to your son. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Well, I did in excuse me, when Carol was reading 4, and I have this highlighted too, this whole paragraph, like I have a lot of the stuff highlighted. But when he mentioned that we spoke before about the authority problem, I had to go back and look at that, because I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So I went back in the FIP version, because it was just easier for me to find it there. But in the FIP, the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles, it's chapter 3, section 6, paragraph 5, where he says, when you feel tired, it is because you have judged yourself as capable of being tired. When you laugh at someone, it is because you have judged him as unworthy. When you laugh at yourself, you must laugh at others, if only because you cannot tolerate the idea of being more unworthy than they are. All this makes you feel tired because it is essentially disheartening. You are not really capable of being tired or sick or whatever. But you are very capable of wearying yourself. The strain of constant judgment is virtually intolerable. It is curious that an ability so debilitating would be so deeply cherished. You will also regard judgment with fear, believing that it will someday be used against you. This belief can exist only to the extent that you believe in the efficacy of judgment as a weapon of defense for your own authority. So anytime that I am believing that I'm tired, or I have an illness, or somebody else has an illness, or somebody else is doing something and I'm judging it, I'm usurping God and believing that my thoughts and beliefs are right. It's that whole thing. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? And if I just let go of that idea that I have to be right about anything, then that frees my mind so much guilt, because I'm no longer judging myself or other people for what they are, who they are, how they appear in the world. And it's been a journey with with my own physical seeming challenges, and watching my husband go through his seeming illnesses and stuff, because I really have been able to shift, like, the idea that whatever is happening is bad or wrong. Like, how can I claim it for my good? How can I claim, my husband's seeming heart disease and kidney disease and having to go to dialysis and having a transplant, the kidneys rejecting, and how can I claim that for my good? And I don't really know the answer to that question, but what I do know is, if I'm not judging it as bad, I'm just seeing that it is what it is. And it's the journey that he chose to take. And it's the journey that I chose to take with him. Then there's a lot more breathing space. Because I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm not trying to change anything. And there's way less guilt. Because, my thinking he should be doing this and that and the other thing, and I should be doing this and that and the other thing, is like, holy crap, that's a lot of energy being taken up. Just on judgments alone. So again, anytime I have an opportunity to have a counseling session, anytime I have an opportunity to come together with you guys, anytime I have an opportunity to read this book and to do the lessons, and any realization and healing that I get to have, oh my God, it's such a blessing to be able to feel like I'm doing something that is not only just freeing my own mind, but freeing the world, because we are each other's salvation. So, and it's my motivation for continuing to do it, knowing that as I am healed, we all are healed. Again, it really comes down to that. Lifting my brothers and sisters up as I'm lifting myself up. So, yeah, we got work to do, but we can enjoy it while we're doing it. Have a good time. Have Course in Miracles parties. Go ahead, Carla. And then Kathleen.
What I'm hearing from you is that you've simplified your life. Instead of going into the story by your husband, that's what judgment is. It's creation of a story, right? As you stop yourself from doing that, going into this story, and that means that's what you're doing, is you're simplifying the thoughts that you choose. You're see, this is the thing. Thoughts come and go, right? And so what it is which thoughts do we choose to believe is true? When you're driving down the road, have you ever had this thought, you're driving across a bridge or something, and you ever thought about flying off the bridge and going into the water? Is there anybody who hasn't had that thought? Raise your hand. No, all shit. We don't believe every thought that comes into our head, right? You never flown off a bridge into the water, right? We can see that's what you're doing. And there's thoughts come into your mind, and you're simplifying by not choosing. And you don't have to. You have to focus on, as things come up, I'll share this. Do you remember, how long has it been? 10 years that I came to visit?
Just about, yeah.
And what did we ask for? Remember we made an agreement?
Was ascension, wasn't it
Yeah.
ascension?
It doesn't look like that. You don't think the minds will tell you that's not happening. Look at all these things that are happening in our lives. But I can tell you this, Linda, in the last year, you've really been opening up your mind and evolving in awareness and stuff like that. So it seems like we asked for it years ago, but it's still happening. People think we're still evolving. It's not about evolving or the world's creating civilization, but it's both. We're still evolving. We're
Always.
still evolving. Isn't that so beautiful?
Yeah, thanks, Carla. Kathleen.
Well, let's see, there was one line in here that talked about joy, which was number 7. We have said before that you must learn to think with God. To think with him is to think like him. This engenders joy. So that's as far as I wanted to read that one, because I just want to think about the joy that is in life, and not so much to keep thinking about all the awful hard work there is to get rid of the ego. So I'm doing the 28-day challenge with Robert Perry on relationships. They're doing the whole month on relationships, and they're going through the manual for teachers. And last week was generosity, and this week is patience. But the 2 weeks before that were gentleness and joy, and how if you're gentle with everybody, you do not make any judgments, and then it leads to joy. So gentleness leads to joy. And then the generosity is a natural part of that. So we were to practice generosity, either giving with our minds or giving, I guess, on the level of form, but just being generous, knowing that it's coming back to us. So practicing that, and my favorite place, Costco, or did I tell you about giving blood and giving the towel to the lady that gave me the blood? Oh, well, I had a stack of towels on my chair waiting for my friends to get their house rebuilt after the hurricanes. And they finally came and got them all, except I kept one towel, really nice towel, and a hand towel. I'm thinking, what did I do that for? And so I go down to give blood, and they said, oh, okay, you can give blood, but and I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. They're like, oh, we don't have a bathroom. So I just ran home because it's so close. And I look at this towel, and the Holy Spirit goes, give that towel to the lady who's taking your blood. I'm like, what? She's at work. She's a professional. What are you talking about? A towel. So I put the towel in my car. I drive back down there. I give blood. She just does an awful job. I got this big bruise on both arms. Pull it out, put it in over here. Anyway, she's a really nice young woman. And at the very end, I looked at her and I'm like, do you need a towel, a really nice towel and hand towel? She's like, yes. So I go out in the car, get the towel, give it to her. She's like, thank you so much. So I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, I get it. And then I had my porch redone. I had 8 new windows put in. I had 8 windows in the driveway to give away. So I gave them away for free. And this guy came to get them, and he's got a big Trump shirt on and all this stuff. And I said, well, I didn't vote for him, but we can be friends, right? And he's like, yeah, yeah. So we're talking. He's a contractor. He's so glad to get the windows. And I just happened to notice that I have an outdoor door to my water heater, which is only this big. And I had noticed, because of some things that look like termite poop in the corner of my kitchen, I went, what's that? I better go outside and look in my water heater thing. And it's sitting in this much water, in this thing that my ex-husband had put underneath it, made out of rubber. It's sitting in water. So I sucked it out, but it filled back up. So this guy, I showed it to him. He's like, do you know that Duke Power has a program that if you pay $12 a month, you can get a free water heater? I'm like, oh my God, you're a miracle. So I checked the water heater I bought back, signed up for the program, and then I just have to wait till February 12th. And hopefully I'll meet the requirements to get a new water heater. So I'm thinking, okay, Holy Spirit, thank you very much. I made friends with the Trump guy, and he saved me $400. And then the last one, it's so silly. These things are so much fun. I went to 5 and Under and bought a hat for a friend of mine, and I'm taking money out of my change purse, and there's this little tiny bunny in there made out of plastic, little bitty bunny. So I'm thinking, give things away. So I said to the cash register lady, would you like this bunny? And she's like, oh yeah, I'll put it over here with the other bunnies. So to go over the cash register, there's a row of bunnies that look exactly like mine. I stood there like, I can't believe that, you guys, this is an amazing synchronicity. Look at all those bunnies. So anyway, it's just a fun way to live life, be joyful, and, not worry about all this ego crap. But I am practicing it with Trump, and my vision of him is changing in my mind, and he's becoming more amorphous, just kind of like a blob, and then trying to distance myself from everything that he says he's doing. And I don't listen to the news much, but a little, because it's kind of fascinating right now.
Yeah.
Everything he's chopping away at and all the reactions to it. So I'm thinking, well, maybe the reactions are the Holy Spirit, moving people to form groups and take care of people that are about to be super affected. Although I don't know what's happening with all the people that are being flown away in airplanes. But just to see it, yeah, like it's not real, and sending love to everybody, which comes back to me, sending love to Trump, sending love to all the people, all the millionaires that seems like they think that they think differently, but they don't really think differently. They think just like I think.
Yeah.
So, just practicing the Course in Miracles at this time of transition. Anyway, I'm trying to have fun with the whole thing, be detached and just talk to the people around me and do the whole gentleness, joy, generosity, and patience. And last night I drew a card. I have those angel cards, and I pulled out patience. 4 years of patience. Anyway, it's not real. So anyway,
Yeah.
thanks for letting me share, listening. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kathleen. And thanks for the reminder to focus on the joy. I mean, I feel, and the kindness and the gentleness and all that you're focusing on with Robert Perry's class, because it reminds me that, yes, that is also a practice that I have been doing. And I mean, I came up with this, oh gosh, several weeks ago. I think it was before the first of the year, actually. Because I have this, and I may have mentioned it here, I have like this drill sergeant in my head that wants to tell me what to do and what I'm not, what I'm doing wrong. And like, and he's good to have there for motivation sometimes, but he doesn't have to be mean about it. So I had been following a couple of years ago this guy named David Goggins, and he's a drill sergeant and he's a motivational speaker, and he's like, stay hard, is like one of his signature lines. So I just thought to myself, okay, so when I pictured my drill sergeant, if it's David Goggins, which I adore him, I think I'm just going to give him fairy wings and a rainbow tutu. And that way he can be a gentler, kinder drill sergeant.
The sense of humor.
Yeah, I appreciate having the drill sergeant in my head to motivate me, but I don't like it when he tries to beat me up with what I'm doing or not doing, right? So yeah, just focusing on joy and watching things that are funny. I saw a little video clip on I think it was on Facebook, of this woman where she was irritated with her husband, and she said when she's irritated with her husband, she looks at him through the tines of a fork so she can remind herself that being in prison would be a bad thing if she tried to kill him. And I thought, that's just funny. Maybe I should hold a fork while I'm watching the news.
Yes. Yes.
Oh gosh.
Watching the news.
I don't want anybody to be in the prison of my mind that can be judgmental, and all those judgments can just go back to the drill sergeant with the fairy wings and the rainbow tutu. So I can
Nice.
snap at them.
It reminds me of something that I think it was my husband Ram and I did. We took these soldiers, little toy soldiers, and we wrapped them up with ribbons and gave them wings and all this stuff and hung them here and there in the house, kind of transformed their energy into sorcerers because they all have a gun sticking out. So just made
Right.
a cool thing hanging on the end of the sorcery.
I love that.
Now I got to go get one.
Yeah. You know, the darkness would like us to just delve into the darkness so that we're easier to control. That's what, you know, the ego mind would like us to be easier to control. But yeah, we don't need to do that. We can focus on our joy. Oh my gosh.
What you guys, I can't see any of you. What the heck? There's just something appeared on my screen. It's taking up the whole screen. What in the heck? Anyway, there it is. So you can see this was the gun,
Yeah.
and it just
Oh,
says,
he has butterfly wings.
yes, he's butterfly wings
I love
and
that.
a ribbon that can hang him up. Doesn't really have a face anymore. He's more like just a angel head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really a fun project.
Yeah.
Transform their energy to peace,
Yeah.
from defensiveness.
I love that.
It's fun.
Now I'm going to picture all of your butterflies as being former soldiers.
By the way, all the monarchs came back, and I've got like 50 or 60 of caterpillars on my giant milkweed. Thank
I
God.
saw that. That's so cool.
That's amazing.
And the fritillaries are really pretty too.
Yeah, I've got some of those too. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Focus on the joy, people.
Totally. Two of
Thanks,
them hanging
Kathleen.
over there.
Oh, do you have some in there?
Yeah, 2 fritillaries and a couple of monarchs in here for some reason. I don't know.
They just like to visit.
The fritillary looks like a piece of leaf.
Oh, yeah, it does.
They're really hard to see in nature.
Yeah.
They really look like just a piece of leaf.
Wow.
Ain't they interesting? And then one
Yeah.
fell off, so I've got it in a thimble. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when it starts to emerge.
Yeah. Little tiny miracles.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the practices that I adopted for myself since the beginning of the year is just I have this reminder that comes up on my phone 3 times a day. What are the miracles and what is the deep desire of my heart? And so I've been writing these things out and then reading them 3 times a day.
That's a good idea.
Because that's what I would like to focus on. I would like to focus my energy on those things.
Out loud? Out loud?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the power of my voice. I also know the power when I don't use my voice. Oh, is that one of your fritillaries? Oh,
Yeah. When they come out, they're absolutely beautiful.
yes.
Out of that little tiny thing that looks like a leaf. And they're very small. They're about that big.
Yeah.
One got out in the house and was gone for a day, but I found it and took it outside. It's easy to pick up a butterfly. As soon as they close their wings, you can pick them up.
Yeah.
They don't have dust on their wings like a moth. It doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah. So fun.
Yeah. More fun, more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. More joy. More joy in the world. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share? Janet or Hamira, just seeing if there's anything you'd like to share before we go. We've got about 10 minutes left.
Just hi, everybody, and just been listening. Thank you so much, Linda, for this
Yeah.
forum. I love you.
Love you too. I like to have your voices. And Janet, you're muted, honey. I saw you tried to talk, but there you are.
So I am kind of a newbie to the course, and I don't have this version. So would you suggest I get that version, right?
You can, but I can also put, there is a an app that you can get. I will post the link to the app in the chat. Hold on one second.
They just did a bunch of work on the app too, so it's even.
Oh, did they? Oh, cool beans.
Better. I don't really use it, but it is a good app.
Yeah, the link didn't work for me, Linda, but I just went to the Play Store and put ACIM CE, and
Yes.
it popped up, and
Oh, cool.
I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I use that one from the Foundation for Inner Peace.
Yes.
And this you can highlight too and do everything. It even has a sound, I think. Voice.
Yeah, we'll read it for you.
Yeah.
And where's my chat button? There we go. All right.
Can I read a poem?
We call it the Purple
We're
Book.
about to close out, right?
Yeah.
Is
Janet,
everybody done talking? I want to, if anybody wants to talk, I want to speak.
Yep.
I shared this. It's one of my old poems. I think I was like, I don't know, 28 or something when I wrote this. And it's one of my few rhyming poems. So it's called Like a Sculptor. A crooked path through life I lead as I trod on down life's trails. Changeable is the horizon as the future it unveils. My initial path was one of dread. I took in everything as bleak. I held on to the darkness. It helped to make me weak. My thoughts and actions were ruled by fear. My life was frozen in its embrace. My heart was castled in a cage. Hopelessness written on my face. But since then, I have seen the light. I can leave the darkness toward the bright. Let go of the past, not grip it tight. And look at my life as a beautiful sight. So now I can differently choose. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. I can use the pain as a learning tool. I can heal myself, make myself whole. Mistakes again, I'll make, I know. And sometimes I won't let go. But I know my future is up to me. Like a sculptor, I shape my own destiny.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Carla.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for next week, we will continue in chapter 5, the Holy Spirit. We will do section 7. We'll be talking about section 7, the question of karma. So it'll be interesting to have that conversation too. Janet, were you able to see the link I posted in the chat?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And feel free to WhatsApp message me if you can't get it or if you have any challenges with it or whatever. We'll figure it out. Thank you, everybody. It was delightful to be here with you. This week has felt like several weeks in a row.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Thank you, Fabi. Love y'all.
Love you. Bye. Thank
See you
you.
next week. Bye.
Bye.